Yeah, this is what's called an Oldham Type T. This is approved for obviously use underground, but it gets used in potholders, and I think still today potholders are using these. Most definitely the miners are still using them in any of the still working collieries in the UK, which I don't think is so many. So what this thing, again, this goes on your battery, on your belt with your self-rescuer, and again, you can certainly feel there's a fair amount of weight in that. This would have on it a number, so you'd be assigned that lamp, and that lamp will be yours for as long as you work at that colliery, and with that number, for example. What does it consist of? It's quite a large wet cell battery, which is rechargeable, but done by the lamp man up on the surface. When you put it back on the rack, it charges up, ready for your next shift the following day. It's got a length of cable which is quite flexible, and then it's got a funny shaped little lamp on the end which has got a metal plate which allows you to slide that into something on top of your hat, so it holds it on your hard hat. It's got two bulbs, one bulb at the top which is quite a small bulb and only gives off very low light. That's to sort of preserve the battery life. If you're not needing powerful light, you could actually work with that, but it is dim. And then the main lamp in the middle, then that would give you your working light, and that's what you'd use as you're travelling to and fro the mine, so that you can illuminate quite a distance in the tunnels. To operate it, there's a little dial, little round thing on the side. It doesn't have a switch or something you slide on and off. You can just continue to turn this. What this does, it just makes connections inside. So as you turn it, one bulb will light up. As you turn it a bit more, it'll go off, and a bit more, and then the next bulb lights up, and then so far, so forth. Again, what did it mean to me at the time? Pretty much like that self-rescuer. Another great lump of flipping plastic and steel hanging off my belt, digging into my hips, and but it was a case of needs must. That was our only source of light, particularly on the coal faces and in some of the tunnels. But once you got away from the main tunnels, there was no lighting. This is all you had. It's a meeting place. Typically, when you get off the man rider, you might have 50 or 100 metres to walk to the meeting place, and the meeting place would have sort of a desk and benches, places to hang your old jacket, nails knocked in bits of wood, and you'd basically tell like the fireman who's there. And when I say a fireman, I don't mean like people might relate to a fireman who goes on a fire engine putting fires out. A fireman underground is the person who is in charge of the area and also is responsible for doing setting explosives, controlled explosives and things like that. A fireman. He'd tick you in as to where you're going. So, for example, I might be going to W21's face, so you get ticked in now who's going to W21's face. The area itself will be quite well lit up, quite large in size, and from there on you would make your way to wherever you've been assigned. So if I was heading to, for example, a face, W21's face, which was a considerable way from that meeting place, and you had to walk it, and the tunnels would be a lot smaller as you're heading towards the coal face, and that could take you another 20 to 40 minutes to get to the coal face. In terms of smell, the air was always dusty and damp, because it's carrying all the muck and all the impurities as it's coming through the coal, through the workings. And obviously, as I said, if anybody's been drinking beer and they want to pass a bit of wind, then unfortunately you get the remnants of that blowing past your face as well. So it can be a little bit nasty and smelly in places. Because the meeting places and the walls tend to be whitewashed, there are good lighting, fluorescent lights in there, but obviously the fluorescent lights they have to be special types of ones so as not to cause explosions. And obviously the lights then reflects off the whitewash. Once you leave these meeting places, you just work into the tunnels, where they can be quite bleak and dim, a bit dank. Some places can be wet. It just depends on the structure. There could be water in places as well. The floor could even be wet, when you're walking in towards your workings, you know, from, yeah, it can be, it's most definitely smelly and dusty or damp. Because it's such a difficult job. I mean, some of these guys are manhandling, and I literally mention this, manhandling tons of steel work. You can't work on your own in that game. You have to, there's 2 or 3 of you working together, and it's like, to a certain degree, it's like a football team. You've got to work as a team. And the only way that you can make it happen is you humour each other, you entertain each other, and you know, you look out for anybody. You could be the man carrying the back end of that beam, but you know, as tired as you are, you drop that, then him in the middle is going to feel it, and him at the end is going to get hurt, and you just don't drop it. You know, I've seen guys who they're in pain, but they won't let it go because they're not going to hurt their mates.